Poke Nation is back. Hey, you know what? Saturday night I was sitting there going, I kept my phone on because I was afraid I might get a call that I had to like bail you out.
Oh, no.
Afraid about it. So you survived the Gatsby.
Survived.
Each swear is with us to survive the Gatsby.
It was an unbelievable night. Anyone who was there will tell you it was
your best ever?
The party of the year on steroids. It was unbelievable. But that's not the biggest news. The biggest news is the new jacket. Like, I don't know where you got it. I love it. I think it's a great, counter to the tan.
Well, there's the tans right over there.
And it's funny. I know we can't pan over there, Marcus, but that one, we did. Look, and it actually's got dry cleaned. Like, this is an unbelievable day. It really is. Poke Nation, unbelievable what we got going on here.
We've lost a little weight. We can get into different clothes.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, my God. All right. So let's get into we have two coaches coming up.
Yeah.
Gary Goff and Lynn Kennedy. Mm-hmm. This is the most excited I've seen Lynn Kennedy in the 3 years he's been here. Yeah. Both with big recruiting news.
Yep.
It seems like we've gone to a different world of how we're recruiting at McNeese. I know some of that is the facilities are coming back. Some of that is some of the things you've wanted to change. Mm-hmm. How important is it, and how much are you seeing based on the whole, I don't want to say Will Wade factor, but the exposure?
I think, what Coach Wade and men's basketball did this year was literally put McNeese back on the map.
Yeah.
On a national level. And obviously that fed into the local level. And I think that has spurned a lot of the cool factor in recruiting. I think that's uno numero number one. I think that making and restructuring the staffs of football and women's basketball to make sure that, like in football, we have a true recruiting coordinator, chief of staff with Aaron Ingram, and that's all he does every day.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the staff changes we made with football, I think, has obviously proven to be beneficial in the recruiting area. I think the same thing with Coach Pittman coming into women's basketball and what Coach Kennedy. Look, when you sit down and you assess things, you have to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
We're a regional institution. We have to be able to own our region. And you think about the quarterback that I know Coach is going to talk about, Cliff, he's from Houston.
Yeah.
And I've said all along, New Orleans to Houston, if we can, own that corridor, we got a chance to get back to being what we should be, and that is regionally dominant.
And he started at UL, so he knows
Absolutely.
the area.
Yeah.
By the way, you guys are probably not the happy. I don't think they like you guys in Lafayette right now, do they?
And let me tell you this, that's great. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, when we played Lamar at Lamar and it was a rival, and we played UL here and beat them, like, it's good. Like, I don't want to be liked by our rivals. I don't want to be. If they like you, it means that they own you. Well, I have no interest.
Well, the Lamar thing is interesting because that is a basketball rivalry. It's also a football rivalry now.
Yeah.
Football, they've really improved themselves. Baseball-wise, they're really good. They're 24th in the country.
No doubt.
So their new AD in that have really upgraded that.
He's really good.
To where it's now a situation where they are a true rival.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, the new administration there, Jeff O'Malley, he's done a great job. I really respect him. He and I see the world very similar. And
does he have a Gatsby?
I don't think he has a Gatsby. I don't think he's all the way over there yet. But I do. I do respect Lamar a lot and what they've done under his leadership. But we should be rivals, right? Like, our rivals.
Good for the conference.
It's good for the conference. It's good for the league. But make no mistake, it really, what men's basketball did this year on a national level of being on ESPN and the top 10 highlights. Getting to the tournament. Like, it just, like I said all along, you can't get that kind of branding anywhere else, and I think it's elevated all of our programs.
And it is paying off on other issues. It obviously paid off in NIL money. Mm-hmm. It's obviously paid off with exposure, and now you're seeing kind of the other benefits of getting kids here.
Absolutely. And look, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. I say it all the time when I coached, right? Like, I was coach of the year twice, and I was fired. Well, The times I was coach of the year, I had really good players. When the time I was fired, players probably weren't good enough. I mean, it comes down to the talent.
It really does, and that's why you're lucky to be sitting next to me. When we come back, Gary Goff will talk to us about the new quarterback in town after this on Poke Nation.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Serving the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954 and a loyal supporter of McNeese State University for over 30 years, Southwest Beverage has provided scholarships to students, supported athletic programs, and sponsored the Banner Series since its inception. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana, offering an extensive portfolio of beer, spirits, and non-alcoholic beverages. We're Southwest Beverage, and we want to say thank you for your support.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
If you're frustrated with your bank and feel like this when you leave, make the move to Lakeside Bank. Voted best bank in the People's Choice of Southwest Louisiana. At Lakeside, the sun is shining, we have the best personal banking, and our customers are always smiling. Find your way to a brighter financial future. Bank happy. Bank Lakeside.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. Coach Goff, welcome, my friend.
Good to be here.
Hey, okay, so wrapped up spring.
Yep.
More importantly, wrapped up recruiting. And
questionable.
Questionable. You're never done with that. But obviously, huge announcement this past weekend with the quarterback Cliff coming in. Talk a little bit about that. Talk to Poke Nation about how you feel about the recruiting class, and obviously getting someone with that type of experience and success to come here.
Yeah, like we just mentioned, your recruiting never stops, especially in this new day and age with the transfer portal. And, I thought our mid-year class was great. We had a top 15 recruiting class with those guys, 29 transfers. And then our signing class there in February, we added a lot of high school guys and a lot of local guys, actually. So I thought we had a really good class. But coming out of spring, especially the quarterback position, anytime a quarterback doesn't win the starting job and they want to play, I kind of understand that, and so we actually had a scholarship come open in that room, and we kind of went out and tried to find the best quarterback we possibly could, and found a young man that's going to be a 6-year senior, and he was 11-1 last year as a starter at Montana. And so many people in young man's ears right now about, hey, you're probably a bigger player and whatnot, and he'll tell you, I made a mistake. I got in the portal and was looking for the FBS. And went to an FBS school, and things didn't work out there like he was promised. And so anyway, ended up back in the portal, and Clifton McDowell. And, it's a big get for us. It's a guy that's a proven winner. He was a Big Sky Player of the Year last year. He's from Houston, so he's kind of a regionally local guy for us, and is going to bring a lot of experience to that side of the ball for us. And if you got a quarterback that can lead a program, it's going to help us in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. So it was a really big get for us. I need school to start real fast.
well, and obviously. He's a dual threat guy.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that because, he's had success, but I think we've talked about off air about you alluded to it, bringing confidence to that side of the ball. Talk about his skill set.
Yeah, no, he's a dual threat guy. I mean, Cliff's 6'4", 235, so he's just a big guy. And imagine tackling a guy like that for 4 quarters, right? I asked Micah Davey, I said, what about his size? He's like, ooh, that's a handful, right? Yeah. But, anytime you got a dual threat quarterback, and, we've had many of those through the years, it's just another element that the defense coordinator has a very difficult time, game planning for him. It turns into a true 11-on-11 football. And this guy's got the skill set. He can extend plays with his legs. He can run. I think last year he had the longest rush for Montana, and he had the longest pass for Montana last year. But he's a big, strong guy. He's got a big arm, but he can kind of eat up first downs, and it'll help us live in the world of 3rd and short to 3rd and medium into sometimes being 3rd and long. And, last year, we only averaged, 9 possessions a game. And when you think about that, there's so much that goes into it. We got to play better defense, right? Offense, if we can sustain drives, that helps keep defense off the field, which keeps them fresh. Right. This guy's a big piece of the puzzle here because of his experience. And this is not somebody we recruited that's been a backup at an FBS school. Man, I hope he can play, 100%. And he's transferring because he wants to play. This is a proven winner, and I know he's transferred some, but there's a lot of different reasons that went into some of those transfers. And the big one is people always in people's ears saying, hey, you're a Power 5 player. Yeah. That's not always the case.
Well, he started at UL.
He started at UL.
His career at UL, so he has familiarity with the area as well. You said from Houston, but also he played, though, because he didn't just sit around. After UL, he went to Kilgore Junior College, so he has numbers at every level. But the big thing to me is he's not alone in what you got him brought in.
Right.
Curtis DeVille, who I think is maybe the best receiver I've seen out here for a couple of years, comes back to the area. Yep. You're starting to see kids come back after they leave the area. He comes back from Purdue. He's from Iowa. How important is that to kind of start to reestablish that? Because a lot of kids have told me over the years they left after the Hurricanes because they just want to get away from it all. Yeah. Now they're starting to think to rebuild. How much are you seeing that come back?
Well, there's no doubt. There's some talent in the area, right? And sometimes that talent they get bigger offers, Purdue or whatnot. I understand that. And then you throw in there sometimes young men, hey, I've lived here all my life. I want to kind of experience something different. I understand that side of it too. But it's good to see some of these really good players come back. They're seeing the product that we're putting together right here. They understand the challenge ahead of them and us. And, it's good for our community. It's good for our fans, right? I mean, those families are going to come to our games. And that's a big part of it right there too. But I'll say this going back to the quarterback. He was very locked into, hey, I want to see those offensive line. I want to watch their film. Hey, I want to meet the receivers. I want to watch them on film. So, he investigated us as much as we did him, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of a different thing. And also you're seeing a lot of kids come back, and some of the kids you're bringing in, they're friends with these guys. Yep. So they're speaking highly of the program, inside the program, despite the record. So what they're saying is, this isn't all that. You ought to come here and try this. You're also selling in yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tristan Drigger's a great example of this. He was at ULM a year ago. We got him at mid-year, and he texted me yesterday. He said, Coach, this is the best decision I made. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be playing for you. And he's got a lot of friends. We're still recruiting some of his friends that are transferring to other places. So, but I think this day and age in the portal so much, yes, kids are talking, and if you're doing it the right way, word's going to spread.
The weird thing about the portal is you can go out and get a lot of guys, but he's coming here in June. Yeah, Clifton. How important is it to get him established in June? Because you don't want to start off basically on the first day of camp with nothing. You got to get him ready.
No, and there's some similarities in the offense he ran at Montana and ours. The offense coordinator at Montana background is an air raid guy. He was the offense coordinator for Hal Mumme at Kentucky, who I coached under and played under. So there is some similarities. We asked him, last week what his favorite play is, and he drew up my favorite play in our offense. So he's got some familiarity with the offense, so it shouldn't take very long at all.
Last thing I have for you, Coach, is, you spent, and we talked about this before, but you spent a lot of the recruiting season, reestablishing relationships in I-10. Mm-hmm. And you talked about local kids. Like, how do you feel like that went, and does that help you get those kids to come back with those relationships?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's very important. And again, the recruiting's changed so much, right? I mean, there's everybody knows high school is under-recruited right now, it just is. But we were able to go back out and speak with a lot of those people and coaches and let them know what we're doing here and the process to it and the challenges we've had and what we've got to overcome. And, as long as those coaches, you're communicating with them and they understand you're doing things the right way, they're going to put in a good word for you. Hey, man, you're looking for somewhere to go play. Hey, they're building something special there in Lake Charles. So I think it's very, very important to get out amongst those coaches and them see your face as much as you possibly can.
Also to get them to keep you in mind when the kids come back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
I heard from
That's
Coach
the
Goff,
key.
he's looking for a receiver.
When we come back, we'll have Lynn Kennedy join us about his recruiting after this on Poke Nation.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us.
Welcome to Nogales Mexican Cuisine and Bar, where every dish is crafted with fresh ingredients bursting with flavor. Make your date night unforgettable with our authentic Mexican dishes in a cozy and unique setting. Experience our warm and welcoming staff dedicated to ensuring your dining experience is nothing short of exceptional. Unwind at our bar with weekly drink specials perfect for any occasion. Nogales Mexican Cuisine and Bar, where great food, people, and drinks come together.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
We're back. Lynn Kennedy is our guest now, women's basketball coach here at McNeese, and talk to Gary Goff about his recruiting. Let's talk about your recruiting. You've signed 3, have another one committed, all from Louisiana, a couple of real locals, but really the big one is Paris Guillory.
Yeah.
Lake Charles' own from St. Louis, took St. Louis to 4 straight championships, won 2. How big of a get was that to get her from Louisiana Tech? And she has 3 years left.
Yeah, it was a big get for our program, probably the biggest signing I've had since I've been here. You recruit these players, for 3 years. You have an opportunity to keep on them, and I've been, diligent in texting her and messaging her, and a lot of times it's not the right time. Sometimes they want to get away or they want to experience something different, and that was the case with Paris. She wanted to experience something different at La Tech. Went up there, had a tremendous freshman year, all conference, Conference USA freshman team. But then she got in the portal. I hit her 5 minutes after she got in the portal and didn't hear anything back for a while. And so I think the rumor was she was probably trying to go Power 4. So I just stayed on it every week, sent her a message. Last Monday, she hit me up and said, I want to visit. I said, let's do it as soon as we can. And she signed Friday, and we're extremely excited about it. I think just having a player of her caliber come into our program, she's heard nothing but great things about what we're doing here. We've got the foundation really started now, and it's building, and she knows that. And just the players we've signed, you can see it now kind of unfolding, and she's aware of that, and she wanted to be part of it, and she wanted to be back home and bring something back to McNeese.
Well, obviously, when you get a player like her with the reputation from this area, it almost gives it a cool factor, right? Like, it's okay to go there now. You know what I mean? So obviously, you've changed, if you will, some of the philosophy of bringing the kids in. Talk about the other recruits that you had and some of their skill sets, and then where do you think by signing Paris, Coach, that this can lead?
Well, I mean, it started with Bree Sutton, a transfer from Arkansas State, from New Orleans. She played at ULM as well, so we played against her my first 2 years. But she's a player. She can play 1 or 2, and she plays our style of play, and she's really good defensively too, and just a strong guard. And then we got Ty Williams out of South Alabama, out of New Orleans, but they all know each other.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. It started with Bree, and then Ty knows Bree, and then Ty knows Paris, and Paris knows Bree, and so it kind of just steamrolled from there. But we've talked about it before off camera, but it's building those relationships. It may not happen the first year, but it's happening in our 3rd year, because you establish those relationships, they start talking to each other. Now when you get those players here, I think now sky's the limit for our team. We had 3 visits last week. We've got 2 more next week with a couple post players. I like where we're headed. I mean, it's going to be exciting. I think Polk Nation's going to be excited for this team. It's going to have a Louisiana feel, which is really exciting for our community.
Now, Williams, she was hurt last year.
Yeah, she was off and on, throughout the year.
Does she have 3 years left then?
We got to do some looking at it. Same thing with Bree too as well. She may have this year coming back too as well. As you know, COVID's going away, but they're also, with the injuries and stuff too, they're allowing those extra years too as well. So we'll look at that. Yeah.
But so that's kind of the interesting thing is your transfers aren't one and done.
No.
Which is kind of leads you to what you can build on off of that.
We're looking at a post that she'll be a grad transfer, and that's it. Everybody else will be younger but with experience, and so that's what we're looking for. With the foundation we started with our freshmen last year, we wanted experienced players to come in and really build the program up. So they're going to have experience. They don't have just 1 year and done. They're going to have 2 or 3 years, which should elevate our program for the next couple of years.
But you also told me that you kept all 3 freshmen.
So we have all 3 freshmen back, and we have our redshirt freshman, Daniela from Houston, back, and we have a couple post players that have experience now playing. So I really am excited about the foundation we have coming back, and the players we have coming in will elevate us.
And Coach, obviously, you made a change in your staff, which I think was great. Yeah. Talk about this gentleman and what he's been able to help you with, and what you think he can bring to the staff.
Yeah, just evaluating our staff after the season and just kind of restructuring things and bringing in Mike Pittman, he's got from New Orleans, he's got Louisiana connections. He's been in the Southland Conference. We've got him away from a rival school up north, but he's also got Texas ties too as well, high school Texas. And so for us, it was just establishing a better connection with Louisiana, Texas, bringing in someone that has that experience. He's been coaching for, almost as long as I have, 25, 26 years. But it backs me up. When I'm calling these club coaches, he can call too. And it's the same relationship and the same tightness and the same closeness. And it makes it easier for us now to get these players to come in.
That's
so
awesome.
as you know, getting them on the phone, getting them on campus, we're usually going to get them. Yeah, we're usually going to get them.
I know it's it's men's to women's basketball on that, but how much has the exposure of McNeese the last year and kind of the upgrade in the exposure helped kind of get you open doors?
Oh, I think it's tremendous. I mean, just the fact that McNeese is on a national stage and it's everything we've talked about. Yes, it's been a little bit slower for our program, but we're getting there. We're establishing those relationships. We're getting the players now, and that's the end result. We want to be on the same stage as our men's team has done, and it does help us because you can see how quickly you can turn it around with the players that they brought in, how fast it can go, and so that's what we're really trying to do too as well.
Is a lot of this the fact that now people are starting to understand your system and understand what you're doing because it took years to get them to know you?
Yeah, I think a little bit it was the background of McNeese too. The years before I came, it does take time, and I think to do it the right way, to build it up the right way, you look at a couple different avenues you can take going into it. I think the first 2 years were up and down. Last year we started to build it with our youth, and you can see that by the end of the season we were playing our best basketball. We wanted that to be in November. It didn't happen, but to finish 2 out of the last 3, it really carries us over to this offseason. I think that's what's exciting, especially with these players we have coming in.
What about the arena now, the fact that it's kind of the first couple of years it wasn't established yet. Now it's an established arena.
It is, and once they visit and see it, I mean, it blows recruits away. I mean, just everything, and it's not just the arena. It's our practice gym. It's our athletic training. It's our strength and conditioning. It's everything. It's the whole package. And I think just seeing the Lake Charles community support, Southwest Louisiana support, I think that does help as well. And now that we have these kids coming back, it's really going to elevate our program.
So big times, big signings at McNeese. When we come back, we'll get Coach's final thoughts after this.
Whether it's an injury case, a property case, or a business dispute, our lawyers are at the top of their game. Ask anyone who knows us. At Veron Bice, we don't enter popularity contests. The only ratings we care about are the verdicts we've obtained for our clients. Ask anyone who knows us.
Serving the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954 and a loyal supporter of McNeese State University for over 30 years, Southwest Beverage has provided scholarships to students, supported athletic programs, and sponsored the Banner Series since its inception. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana, offering an extensive portfolio of beer, spirits, and non-alcoholic beverages. We're Southwest Beverage, and we want to say thank you for your support.
Ever since I was young, I've known what I wanted to do. Sure, I had some guidance along the way. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But eventually, I had all I wanted. Family, career. It went by fast. Now I'm here. Retirement. And thanks to sound financial planning, it will be all I hoped for. And our children will have a secure legacy. For me, retirement is the next great chapter in my life.
Ferdinandson Financial Group. Let us help you make a plan.
If you're frustrated with your bank and feel like this when you leave, make the move to Lakeside Bank. Voted best bank in the People's Choice of Southwest Louisiana. At Lakeside, the sun is shining, we have the best personal banking, and our customers are always smiling. Find your way to a brighter financial future. Bank happy. Bank Lakeside.
Those are pretty interesting things, pretty interesting signings, especially getting some local people here. People are now going to be more interested. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
It's great, I'm really proud of both of those gentlemen for. Those are hard conversations to have sometimes as an AD, but I'm really proud of both of those guys to take a step back, truly assess their programs, and make the changes that they need to make. I'm really, really supportive of both of them. It's the reason why I've hired them, and I'm really, really happy with the direction that both of those programs are headed right now.
Yeah, and this is the world we live in. You gotta recruit almost daily in the portal.
100%.
Almost even during the season.
100%.
All right, this week the Rowdies.
Yeah.
They happened Monday night. What are the Rowdies?
It's really just a celebration.
What is the commissioner doing here with them?
Well, that's because the Rowdies are. The Rowdies are a big deal. They become a really big deal. We stream them. But it's a celebration of, kind of a branch off of the ESPYs, if you will, where, our student athletes get recognized, they dress up, we feed them, and, we give them gifts, and really, it's just a spin-off of the ESPYs.
It's a celebration of the whole year.
Absolutely.
And the whole program.
Megan Swallow is the one that really spearheads this with our SAC group, the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. So it's a great night, and it's one that we're filming it today, so it's going to be tonight, but it's one that I always look forward to.
Yeah, and it gets you another free meal, and that you always love stuff like that. Hey, how much did Will Wade go for this year? Did you guys auction him off for dinner?
Oh, of course we did. We auctioned him off for dinner, and
now, are you gonna stifle in again and piggyback off of him and get the free dinner too?
I'm going to try. Absolutely. Mazin's a great restaurant to have dinner at, so if I could sneak in there on a side, of course I would.
Remember, he still owes me a dinner.
Yeah, but no, the Gatsby was an unbelievable success. We raised more money than we've ever raised before, and honestly, I think the talent in the party was even better.
Okay, I want to ask you this about NIL money, because one thing I don't, and I know it's got to be quick, but the NIL money coming in, this is an all-time high for you guys, correct?
I think so.
But it's a brand new thing, so it's not.
Yeah, it's obviously everything is
it's fairly new.
Yeah, so I don't obviously run the NIL. I'm not. I can talk to people about, hey, donate to NIL.
Yeah.
But I don't run the NIL.
That goes through the collective.
That goes through our collective. But look, it's college athletics today has truly changed, and I'm really proud of our department. I'm proud of where we're headed. And again, to put your head in the sand and say, well, NIL's not important. Look, we don't have
That's
guys.
the way it is.
We don't have, people out there, all these stupid numbers and all that. But it is something that, you have to have in place if you want to compete the way that we want to compete.
Well, we don't know what it's going to be like in the future, but for right now, you have to have some NIL, you have to have some exposure, you have to have that collective.
Yeah, you have to have it, and just like facilities obviously are important. 20 years ago, 5 years ago, facilities was really, really important.
Yeah.
I think that NIL is just as important right now as anything else that you can do.
When's the weight room going to be finished?
You know what? I'm hoping by the fall we should be ready to roll. But that's going to be great too. We're putting $1.5 million into a new weight room that we got pledged for. Again, Ryan Navarre thank you to him. He's got the naming rights of the new performance center. It's going to be phenomenal. It will be state of the art, and
the press box.
And the press box that's coming. We should be ready in 2025.
There you go. And is the media going to be up there next year?
I'm hoping, buddy. I want to take care of you.
Hey, we'll see you next time on Poke Nation.